Welcome, Miracles with a Twist. Take number 3 or 4. I don't know. It's been a series of technical glitches. And I know I'm not alone in that because apparently somebody forgot to tell Mercury to get out of retrograde and go direct because all I've been hearing from everyone is mechanical issues, technical issues, health issues, even just one thing after another, lots of complications happening. And, just because it's a new year doesn't mean that things suddenly shift in terms of life just lifing and doing what it does and unfolding in ways that are sometimes complex or complicated and create a little bit of chaos or upset in our lives. And, in the end, I always say, oh, well, it's just a story to tell because it's not about what's happening. It's about how we navigate what's happening. And so night is falling, and I wanted to make sure that the first Thursday of January was a Miracles with a Twist opportunity to be with the concepts that we review every year at this time. And basically, we're looking at how do we take a very committed look at where we've been and how we did in terms of our spiritual aspirations and commitments and intentions, and where do we need to make some adjustments. So back in 2020, first I wanted to say I was remembering a couple things. One was being in New York and in Times Square, 1997 going into 1998, watching the ball go down, and that was the year. Later in the year, I started seminary in 1998. And it occurred to me that that ball of light going down wasn't just going down to mark a new era, but to remind us of the light that we are. The ball goes down slowly, the light comes in slowly. We can bring that light into our crown chakra with a dedication to remembering our unity with one another, and our third eye to have a commitment to deeper inquiry of ourselves, rigorous honesty as we look within. And as the light goes into our throat chakra, the commitment to speak kindly. And as it settles into our hearts, to make a commitment to an expansion of our hearts, as we see everyone as a potential opportunity to be a blessing in this world, to expand our territory of ministry, to know that as we go through this year, just like last year and any other year, there are going to be technical difficulties and glitches and plans interrupted and all sorts of things that are actually the same year after year after year because they're just part of what happens in this particular plane, in this era, in this body that we have to experience. So I was having that memory of being on Times Square in 1997, bringing in 1998, and that it's like a once in a lifetime thing. Don't feel the need to repeat that again. Once was enough. So then the other thing I thought about was that was the year I started seminary, and then 2 years later I was ordained. So I'm going on 24. It'll be 24 years this year, and then in 2020, fast forward 2020. I had just gotten a new location for Miracles with a Twist. We were not live streaming yet at that time. And we were all excited. The spiritual family and I were all excited because we had a nice location at a healing space, which is also the location for a Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary and the Darshan Center for Spiritual Evolution. So we were going to have a beautiful ceremony to bring in the new year and to bless the space. And so as I was remembering that, I was looking for the part in the ceremony where different people got up and read from A Course in Miracles. And then it became bittersweet because as I looked it over, and I'll show you, there's like 7, I'm not going to read all these, there's 7 paragraphs. 3 of the people that were with us that day have passed away. They are resting in peace. I know their memories are indeed a blessing for all of us, Pam, Libby, and Deborah. And then 2 others moved away. Lisa and Paul moved away. So 7 of our regularly gathered group since then are no longer with us. And of course, then, we had all this excitement, and then COVID came along and we had to leave. We did some gatherings outside, but then that ended up not being very doable for too long either. So then people started coming here to my home. So I wanted to read a few of the verses that set the tone for a new year, and at the time, a new location. So the first one is from the text, chapter 8. It says, "Glory to God in the highest, and to you. Ask and it shall be given you, because it has already been given. Ask for light and learn that you are light. If you want understanding and enlightenment, you will learn it, because your decision to learn it is the decision to listen to the teacher who knows of light and can teach it to you." So the idea there is that we are already of the light. We can decide at any given time to step into the light, to embrace the light, to share the light, to be the light. And often when we don't do that, it's just because we forgot. We get spiritual amnesia, and we forgot that we can rise higher when we are coming from a place of love and light and patience and understanding. So the Course is reminding us at all times that it never went away. It's not like you have to go in search of it. You don't have to go out there. It's in here. It's within. And it's the practice, the spiritual practice, to connect with it. At some point in the Course, it says that we are part of the great rays that are needed, the rays of light that are needed to bring healing and love and to raise the consciousness of the world. Here's another one. It says, "When you meet anyone, remember it is a holy encounter. As you see them, you will see yourself. As you treat them, you will treat yourself. As you think of them, you will think of yourself. Never forget this, for in them you find yourself or lose yourself. Whenever two children of God meet, they are given a chance at salvation. Do not leave anyone without giving salvation to them and receiving it for yourself." So, we always talk about how salvation or saving the world is really about what's going on right in front of you, right there. It's not that we can do some of the more grandiose things that are needed to be done in order to heal the world, because we are bringing consciousness into ourselves and into others as we take one step at a time in the world and in our lives. So it may be just one-on-one, one person at a time. We may affect change or be affected by them simply by sharing light and love. Helen Keller said, "I often wish I could do grand things, grand and wonderful things, but it is enough that I do humble tasks in a way that makes them grand." So it's the humble things, the mundane things, even the simple things that we can do to bring light and to bring salvation. The goal of the curriculum, meaning A Course in Miracles, regardless of the teacher you choose, meaning your ego or your higher holy self, is to know yourself. There is no one else and nothing else to seek. Everyone is looking for himself, and for the power and glory he seeks, he has lost. Whenever you are with anyone, you have an opportunity to find them and to find yourself. Your power and glory are in him, and because they are in you. So it says that the goal of the curriculum, because any spiritual path, maybe Course in Miracles is the one we're particularly talking about, but any mystic's path especially is where we are continuously looking in and self-evaluating, being rigorously honest with how we're interacting with others, and using the power of compassion, boundless compassion we spoke about recently, the power of our own compassion to rise above our desire to think that our power is in being unkind or to be reactive, because that is the area of emotion that we're healing, so that as we heal emotionally, we can rise spiritually. Heal emotionally so we can rise spiritually, so that we do come from compassion, love, and understanding, and from a peaceful place. And then this last one I'm going to read says, "This year will begin in joy and freedom." It can be in joy and freedom if we're not caught up in our glitches, right? There is so much to do. Accept the holy instant as this year is born and take your place so long left unfulfilled in the Great Awakening. The Great Awakening is happening right now through us. Make this year different by making it all the same, and let all your relationships be made holy. So that's an interesting turn of a phrase, right? Make this year different by making it all the same. So what's different is and are the details of what occurs. Because whatever glitch you're going through now may look different in a month from now, may look different than what it was a year ago. But make it all the same, meaning bring your same dedication, bring your same willingness, bring your learning into it, your light into it, into whatever it is that you have been able to rise to, whatever you have been able to achieve on your spiritual path, bring that into it. Because all of that's going to be different, but you can be the same. You can be the one who brings light into any situation as it unfolds and as you interact with others. So this is the year, the beginning of the year, the first Thursday of 2024, that we start brand new, all fresh, beginner's mind, as they say in Buddhism. To say, I want to be refreshed and renewed in my mind so that I am expanded in my heart. The Course in Miracles says there's no order of difficulty to miracles, and that miracles occur when we shift our consciousness. And for so long, we thought that miracles were these things that seemed out of proportion to what we could think was possible in physics or in somebody's health situation. We think of them as being really big turns. And I had one once, and I've told this story many times, and I'll tell it again. I had one once that I think is a big miracle. And that had to do with being at a friend's house. I was walking back to my friend's house from the store. And as I was crossing a street, there was screeching and tires burning up. I looked over and there was an accident happening. These cars were swirling and one hit the other, and it was coming right toward me. The car itself was coming toward me. And I was seeing it coming toward me. I'm watching it like that. And then next thing I knew, I was on the other side of the street. I don't know how I got there. To this day, I don't know how I got there. All I know is that I was on the other side of the street, standing there sort of like in shock and awe. And everyone who was involved in the accident was standing outside their cars. And they were all sort of looking around. Everybody just seemed to be sort of dazed. And as I was looking at them, another car came up behind me and didn't say a word. I just heard a car. I looked over, and this woman rolled down her window, and she just looked at me. She looked at the scene. She looked back at me. And I said, did you see that? And she said, yes, I did. And I said, was that a miracle? And she said, yes, it was. And she drove off. And it was like one of those scenes from Touched by an Angel. Remember that show? It was like that. And so then I went to my friend's house, and I told her what happened. And she said, get in the car. I said, okay. So we got in the car. I don't know why, but at the time. So we get in the car, and she says, tell me exactly where this happened. So I take her back to where it happened. There were no cars on the road anymore. You could see like the evidence of them having been cleared out and stuff. You know, there was like scattered metal, but the guys weren't there anymore. And so we were able to pull right into the street, which was the street I was standing on before I ended up on the other side. And she says, I want you to look at this house. I'm thinking about this house. We went to the house, and it was a corner house, and it had like a little, I want to say a nativity scene, but it wasn't a nativity. It was like some statues. It had like a little shrine of statues, one of which was the Virgin Mary. When you see her robed in blue, her hands are out like this. In Spanish, we call her La Milagrosa. What does that mean? The one of the miracle. Our Lady of the Miracle. And I was just in awe of what had occurred on some sort of spiritual level, miraculous level. And yet, that's not all that miracles are. That's how we think of them. That's how we think of miracles. Let me be still and listen to the truth. That was the bell that just went. It goes off every hour. Confirmation? Maybe so. Thich Nhat Hanh says, he had this quote, you may have heard it. He said, some people think that walking on water is a miracle, but I think that walking peacefully on earth is the real miracle. And so instead of thinking of, I mean, I'm happy I had that miraculous situation, but I'm also happy when I can change my mind about something that I may have once thought of in a negative way or an unkind way. When I take time to think about what I want to say before I say it. Anytime we have a shift in our consciousness around things that used to disturb us and maybe still do, but we approach them differently. We say things differently. We're kinder, we're more compassionate, more understanding. That's a miracle too. There's no order of difficulty in miracles because the miracle may seem very simple when you can say, you know what? If this had occurred last year at this time, I would have been so mad. But right now, I'm just feeling at peace. I feel like I want to extend my understanding and my compassion and my patience. That's a miracle too. So good for you. Good for you every time you do that. Helen Keller, nope, I quoted her already, right? So it was Anne Frank who said, how wonderful it is to know that no one need wait another minute more to make the world a better place. Whatever it is we can do, however it is we can do, even it's simple acts of kindness or simple acts of redirecting our mind and finding that our true power is in not saying certain things that we might be tempted to say that might be hurtful to someone, or just noticing that we're not feeling the need to even say those things, to truly find that we've risen higher. So once again, pray harder, rise higher, forgive steadily, love readily. That's our continued goal as we set our intentions and our sights on a new year, 2024. You are needed. You are needed to be a part of the Great Awakening. So that light that is in you can expand to help heal the world through your prayers, through your kindness, through your compassion. So maybe we can't do great things, but we can do humble things with great intention. So amen to that. God bless you. Lots of stuff coming up. If you're not on my mailing list, you might want to think about doing that, and I'll be in touch with you.